Imagine walking into a car dealership today and looking at the lineup of new cars. Something seems different, right? The front grills are bigger, the lines are more aggressive, and the designs seem to have lost that cohesion that once defined automotive elegance. You're not alone in this perception. Many gearheads, those passionate about cars, are asking, what happened to car design? The truth might surprise you, and it's not just a matter of personal taste. There are powerful forces, like the demands of new markets and the relentless race for innovation, shaping the aesthetics of modern vehicles. But are we sacrificing beauty in the name of technology and sales? In this video, we'll explore why, for many, cars are getting increasingly ugly and what this reveals about the future of the automotive industry. Get ready for a journey that will challenge your beliefs and maybe even make you rethink your next purchase. Design trends. In the automotive world, design is the first impression that either wins over or turns away any gearhead. Over the past few decades, we've seen significant evolution in the lines and shapes of cars, especially with BMW, a brand that has always divided opinions. What was once synonymous with subtle elegance now, for many, seems like an over-the-top display of boldness. The BMW XM is a clear example of this. This model, with its angular lines and oversized front grille, sparks controversy among purists and the more adventurous. Some love it, others not so much, but one thing is certain: the design never goes unnoticed. The trend of exaggerating details is not exclusive to BMW. Honda, with its Civic Type R, has also jumped on this bandwagon. What was once a car known for its balance between sportiness and sobriety is now a subject of debate among gearheads. While some love the more aggressive look, others miss the simplicity of previous models. Here, we see a classic example of how brands, in their attempt to innovate, end up creating divisions within their own audience. These more complex and controversial designs seem to reflect a quest for identity in a saturated market. Automakers, in an attempt to stand out, end up overdoing it with shapes, colors, and details. But is this the best strategy? What we see is that many consumers, especially gearheads, prefer a design that is coherent and harmonious. Models like the Toyota Supra, for example, are still fondly remembered precisely because they achieve this balance. However, this shift in design trends is not just a matter of style but also of perceived value. Cars like the BMW XM and the Civic Type R become icons precisely because they are different, breaking the rules. But to what extent does this boldness translate into market success? It's a complex issue where the answer can vary depending on whom you ask. But one thing is certain: gearheads are always vigilant and ready to judge. And this relentless pursuit of innovation in design doesn't seem to be slowing down. On the contrary, as new technologies emerge, the possibilities for creation expand, generating even more debates. In the next section, we'll explore how this visual complexity often gets lost in the lack of cohesion and how balance and proportions might be the key to truly remarkable design. Proportions and aesthetics. In the world of automotive design, nothing is more fundamental than proportions. Any gearhead knows that the harmony between a car's elements can make all the difference between a model that becomes iconic and one that is quickly forgotten. Frank Stephenson, one of the biggest names in automotive design, often points out the importance of maintaining the correct proportions. He criticizes models like the BMW XM for their lack of balance, where unchecked ambition ends up overshadowing visual cohesion. When we talk about proportions, we are dealing with the foundation of any successful design. A car may have the most powerful engine and the most advanced technologies, but if its proportions are unbalanced, its acceptance among gearheads will be limited. Stephenson, in his analyses, highlights how BMW, in trying to impress, ended up creating a line of cars that seems disconnected. This applies not only to the BMW XM but also to other models suffering from the same lack of unity in their design. The true beauty of a car lies in its simplicity and the way its elements connect. When every detail of a vehicle seems to be in harmony, the result is a masterpiece that pleases even the most demanding gearheads. Take, for example, the classic Porsche 911, where symmetry and coherence between elements are unquestionable. It's a car that, despite its constant updates, always maintains its impeccable proportions, making it revered by generations. On the other hand, communication between design teams seems to be an area where many manufacturers still struggle. When there isn't clear dialogue and a shared vision, the result can be disastrous. This is what Stephenson argues when observing modern models that, in their attempt to be unique, end up compromising their overall aesthetics. For any gearhead, it is evident that no matter how advanced the technology, if the design isn't cohesive, the car loses part of its appeal. Thus, observing these criticisms and analyses, it's clear that cohesion and proportions are the backbone of successful design. However, the automotive market is constantly changing, and these changes don't always reflect the preferences of more traditional consumers. In the next section, we'll dive into the influence that emerging markets like China have on car design and how this is shaping the aesthetics of major brands. Market influence. The influence of the Chinese market on global automotive design is something no gearhead can ignore. With a growing demand for cars that exude presence and power, automakers are adapting to meet these tastes, often at the expense of preferences in other markets. A clear example of this trend is the BMW 7 Series, which now features a larger and more aggressive front grille, clearly designed to attract the Chinese public. Meanwhile, in Europe, where subtlety and elegance were traditionally appreciated, these changes are controversial. This phenomenon is not exclusive to BMW. Many other brands, like Mercedes-Benz and Audi, have also started exaggerating the proportions of their designs to conquer the Chinese market. The problem is that, in trying to please everyone, automakers end up creating models that lack a clear identity. This can frustrate gearheads who value coherence and tradition in design. After all, a car should reflect its brand's philosophy, not just cater to the demands of a specific market. European consumers, for example, have always valued subtlety and efficiency in design, characteristics that don't always align with current trends. While the Chinese prefer cars that exude power, Europeans often feel alienated by these drastic changes. The result is a polarization between markets, where a car that is successful in one region can be a flop in another. For gearheads, this means that finding a car that combines style and substance is becoming increasingly difficult. On the other hand, this adaptation to the Chinese market is not necessarily a bad thing. It reveals how automakers are becoming increasingly global, trying to cater to a diverse customer base. However, this approach also raises the question, to what extent should a brand compromise its identity to conquer new markets? For purists, this is a worrying issue, as a soulless design does not attract true enthusiasts, those who see the car as an extension of their own personality. This dilemma between meeting new markets and preserving a brand's identity is a constant challenge for automakers. However, what is clear is that the influence of the Chinese market on automotive design is far from diminishing. In the next section, we'll see how this evolution is leading to nostalgia among consumers who long for a return to the roots, even as the automotive world heads into an era dominated by electric vehicles and futuristic design. Nostalgia and trends. Nostalgia is a powerful feeling, especially among gearheads who grew up admiring cars that are now considered classics. Automotive design, like fashion, follows a cycle where trends from the past often resurface with force. Who could have imagined that design elements from the 80s and 90s would come back in style? However, amidst this wave of nostalgia, we also see a movement toward futurism, driven by the revolution of electric vehicles. This dichotomy between the past and the future is fascinating. On one hand, we have electric cars like the Tesla Model S, representing the pinnacle of modern technology with clean and minimalist lines that break with automotive design traditions. On the other hand, we see manufacturers like Ford, who resurrected the Bronco, an icon of the past, with a design that directly references the original model. These two extremes coexist, showing how the market is fragmented between those who look to the future and those who cling to the past. The role of nostalgia in design cannot be underestimated. For many, cars from the 60s and 70s represent the peak of automotive design. Models like the Mustang, Camaro, and Porsche 911 from previous generations evoke an era when design was synonymous with personality and style. This return to roots can be seen as a response to the visual complexity of modern designs, which, as discussed earlier, often seem exaggerated and disproportionate. The simplicity of the past offers a welcome contrast. However, this nostalgia must also be balanced with the need for innovation. The rise of electric vehicles is redefining what is possible in automotive design. Without the need for front grilles for cooling, for example, designers have more freedom to experiment with shapes and proportions. This results in cars that do not fit into traditional conventions, like Tesla's Cybertruck, which defies all conventional aesthetic norms while generating enormous fascination among more adventurous gearheads. So, we are at a turning point in automotive design, where the past and the future are in constant dialogue. For gearheads, this means that options are more varied than ever, but also that the choice between tradition and innovation has become more complex. However, regardless of the direction design takes, one thing is certain. The automotive market never stands still, and each new trend opens doors for heated debates and new possibilities. Now that you know why cars are getting uglier, the big question is, what are you going to do with this information? Is it time to reconsider what you value in a car? Perhaps seek a model that balances technology and beauty. Or maybe revisit those classics that never lose their charm. Think about this the next time you're about to buy a new car. After all, a beautiful design isn't just about aesthetics, but about how it makes you feel behind the wheel. And if you want to keep learning about trends and secrets in the automotive industry, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's much more to come, and you won't want to miss it.